Welcome, Gershom. Welcome to Anelo. Hi, Wanga.
Welcome, everyone. Okay.
Welcome to Tando. How are you guys today?
There you go.
Are you guys happy, excited, tired?
Yeah, let us know what is going on in the world of students. I'm having fun again. Okay, what else should we give them? Let's give them a racket. Ooh,
Swanelo, I'm good, thank you. Thanks for asking. And it's good to hear that you are well. And Wanga, yes, the power might go off. I bet that's on your side. That's absolutely no problem. You just stay until you can, and then whatever you miss, you can go and watch it later when the power gets back on YouTube, on Watobe's YouTube channel. Okay.
Absolutely.
I hope that helps.
While you guys are waiting, I don't know if you've played a Kahoot before, but we're going to start today with a bit of a Kahoot. So you go to www.kahoot.it, then put the code in. And then also you can guess, what is the sport that I'm drawing today? Can you guess the name of the sport that I'm drawing? Actually, Ozan, you have to guess too. What do you think this is? What sport are these two people playing?
This is the difficult one, hey?
No, it's not meant to be difficult, but it's just the limit.
Is it perhaps tennis?
Yes, it's tennis.
That's very good drawing skills, Peter.
I'm trying my best. Yeah, that's not bad. What do you guys think? Would you recognize? I thought maybe you'd think it's badminton or something, but
Formula One.
Formula One, yeah. Then send me back to art school. Welcome Wanga, welcome Dalen and Sino. So while we're just getting ready for the day, we are going to play a Kahoot, which is an online game to start. And I'd like you to go to the website www.kahoot.it, and then I'd like you to put the code in 613187. And if you do that, you should see your name appear on the board. Okay. Oh, you can't hear anything. I can hear everyone. Yep, I can hear.
You know, maybe hop off and then hop back on. Then you tell us if it works. Maybe just something to do with the audio.
Oh, Latando, you've made it to the game. Okay. Welcome, Orotile. It's good to see you back. Welcome, Moketi. Okay, so Moketi, so what we're going to do now is we start the lesson always with a little bit of a game or a quiz or something simple. And today we're going to try an online tool called Kahoot. So you go to, I will even highlight it for you. You go to this address, www.kahoot.it, and then you put this code in. And if you do that, you should see your name on the left-hand side here. And then once we have everyone in, we'll start the game. And it's just giving us a baseline of what we know about perimeter. Because today's lesson is about, well, the unit's about measurement, and today's lesson is about perimeter. Welcome, Gershom. You've made it to the stage. Welcome back to Arson. I see you. Okay, we're going to give it 2 more minutes, guys, and then we're going to get going. And if, for whatever reason, you can't do the Kahoots, I have actually got an alternative question that you can do, just in case, but I'd much prefer you to do the Kahoot. So this question is just to find the perimeter of these shapes, but you really want to join us in the Kahoot if you can.
Hi, Sino. Can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, Alzon, we're going to get going. Anything from you before we start?
Nothing from me. As per usual, enjoy, guys. Ask a lot of questions, and I'll see you again afterwards.
Cool. Okay, so the code still works even after we start. So even if you're a bit late, Alzon has put the code in the message thing. But we're going to start now, and just do the best you can. And let's have some fun. So we're trying to find the perimeter of the shape, and just to clarify, the perimeter is the distance all the way around the outside of a 2D shape. Okay, lock in your answers, guys. And if you can't vote on the Kahoot, just vote with the, okay. So let's have a look at what was here. Just before we go on to the next question, in order to find the perimeter, all I needed to do was add the distances around the outside, which would have been 4 plus 4 plus 3 plus 3, which would have given us 14 centimeters. Okay. I'm going to give you a little bit less time next time. Let's see how this goes. So find the perimeter of this shape. Now, perimeter is just the distance around the outside. Okay, I'm going to give you 10 more seconds, and then I'm going to skip to the next one. So pull the trigger now, or put your answer in the chat. Okay, that's fine. If you can't, then just make a decision in your brain, and you'll see now what the correct answer is. Okay, well done, guys. All 4 of you. Okay, so I'll just show you again. All we did was add 7 plus 10 plus 4, which would have been 21. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Well done to Gershom. Now, even if you can't vote, you can vote in the chat or just write down your answer. Well, what's the perimeter here? And for bonus points, what's the actual shape involved here? Okay, so put your answers in the chat or write down yourself whether you think it's blue, green, yellow, or red. Ah, Gershon, well done. It's a pentagon. Yes, 5 sides. Okay, so once you've made your decision, we're going to move on. I'm going to give the right answer. Okay, so let's just show the media. Okay, you can't really see it, but basically all sides were 3 centimeters and there were 5 of them. And so 5 times 3 is 15. Okay. We go a little bit quicker now. So again, the perimeter is going along the 11, along the 8, along the 13. Basically like if you had to build a fence around the outside of the shape. What's the perimeter going to be for this one? You can either put the color into the chat, or you can make a decision at home. Can I give you 10 more seconds? I think a lot of you are just having connection issues, which does happen. But I want you to make a decision. Oh, I see the answers coming up. So okay, so the answer should have been 32 centimeters. The media is not showing, but basically you would have had to add up all the sides together. Okay. Next one. Well done, everyone. Okay, so what is the perimeter of this shape? And for bonus points, what type of shape is this? I'll watch the chat for those of you who are going to throw me the shape's name. It starts with a something. So 14 plus 14, I think you guys are onto this. And so what shape is it? See the answers coming through nicely. So the answer is 28 centimeters. And most of you, I can see from the chat, and think got that right. What was the shape? It was a trapezium. A trapezium. Latunda is on a 5 correct streak answers. Wow. Okay. Speed up a little bit now. This is what we call a, actually this will also be a, what's this? It's an irregular pentagon. Okay, so 1 plus 4 plus 2, 5 is 7, 12. Okay, it's time to lock in your answers. Well done, everyone. You're smashing it. Now, just to show you that shape, that's actually an irregular pentagon because it's got 5 sides. They're all straight, but they're not all the same size. So just in case you were wondering what sort of shape that was. Okay, I like it. There's some competition going on here. Ah, now what is that? 1, 2, 3. It's also a pentagon. It's irregular again. So 9, 14, 18, 24. Okay, time to lock in your answers. Okay, watch out, you guys got caught a little bit here. So 5 plus 4 is 9. 9 plus 6 is 15. 15 plus 8 is 23. 23 plus 9 is 32. Now, this is an irregular type of shape. You can see the sides aren't the same, but perimeter is still the distance around the outside. Okay. Okay, I'm going to speed up a little bit because we need. What is the perimeter of this shape? Yeah, you guys are doing nicely here. Okay. We're almost at the end now. Do, 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 do. So this is a rectangle, and opposite sides in a rectangle are equal. So just to point out, 12 and 12 is 24. 7 plus 7 is 14. And then you would add them together. Okay. Okay, so the shapes are getting a little bit more complicated now. You're going to have to do some more working out. I'll make the shape a little bit bigger for you. You may say, oh, but sir, there's a missing side, but can you compare it? Ah, okay. I just want to point something out here. If you look at the shape, on the left-hand side is 8 centimeters, on the right-hand side is 3, which means this missing bit here must be 5. Now, if you add up all of these and you add 5, then you will get to the right answer. But I just want to point out that you haven't got a value for here, but you do know that this one over here is 3. And so I think that would be somewhat helpful, because that caught us out, that one. Okay, 2 more to go, and then we will call it. So in this one, we're saying the square is 20 meters. What is the length of each of the sides? We're working sort of backwards here. So what is the length of the square going to need to be, the side of square, to give you a perimeter of 20 meters? Okay, I'll give you 5 more seconds. Lock your answers in. What do you think it is?
5.
Okay, well done. Indeed it is, because 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 gives me 20. Okay, guys, this is the last one. Gersham's in first place. Lutando and Aurelie is in third. So let's see what we can do. Who's going to be the winner? This is an equilateral triangle. All the sides are equal, and one side is length 10. What is the perimeter? Okay, lock your answers in. I'm about to press the big skip button. Okay, pull the trigger, guys. Okay, so if all the sides are equal and the side is of length 10, then 10 times 3 would give me 30 centimeters for the perimeter. And so I'm going to reveal the podium. In third place, Aurelie. I'm so bad at pronouncing your name. I'm so sorry. And Gershom and Lutando is in first place. All right. And the runners-up were Sino and Koketso. Okay, guys. I'm going to move on from that, but I just want to say well done for your participation. And I hope that got you a little bit warmed up for this topic. I'm going to now I know most of you do know who I am, but I'm just going to introduce myself, and I'm also going to talk about the units, and then we'll get going. So this unit of 4 lessons is on the concept of measurement and measuring things in terms of perimeter, in terms of area, in terms of volume, and then also converting between different units. So by the end of this unit, you're really going to have a better understanding of those topics. Just a little bit about me. There's me at home from where I'm teaching you from. And I've been a high school maths teacher for, too many years now, what, 14, 15 years. And yeah, I do like teaching, and I really hope that I can help you improve in your maths as we go towards the end of the year. I'd love to see your faces or hear your voices. Is anybody feeling brave enough to say hello and tell us where you're from in the country? Some of you I've met already, but there are a few new faces. Who can just give us a little something about themselves? I'm looking at the wrong camera.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mukamute and I'm from Cape Town, attending at Rhodes High School.
Oh, fantastic. I know where Rhodes is. Yeah. I've it's quite next door to St. George's Grammar School, huh? I remember being there teaching prac. Welcome, man.
Yes,
it's really good to have you.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else want to say hello quickly? And just give us a...
Hello, everyone. I'm
Hello.
Mukiti, and I live in Gauteng, Kempton Park, and I go to Hoër School Jeugland, and I'm still new here.
Fantastic. Welcome. One of my favorite
Thank
comedians is from Kempton Park. Scott Besenhout. Do you know him?
Sir. I think so. I've heard of him before.
Yeah. Well, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else before we get going? It's really lovely to get to know you, students. Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Oratile and I live in Gauteng in Springs. I go to Springs Girls High School.
Fantastic. Welcome. Welcome. Thank you for being so fantastic and letting us hear your lovely voice. Okay, guys, that is fantastic. It is wonderful to meet you all, and I'm sure I'll get to know you a little bit more as we do the lessons. But yeah, my name is Peter, or you can call me Mr. S, or you can call me Sir. Those are all fine. It's kind of weird, I suppose in the class, you wouldn't normally call me by my first name, but I'm quite happy with that online. Or when I taught overseas, they couldn't say my surname, so they just called me Mr. S. So I'm happy with any of these ones. Okay, so I just want to do a little bit of a brainstorm before we start more questions. And I actually want you to put in the chat, what are some of the different shapes that you think will be important for perimeter? So I'd love for you to put, what do you think are, you've seen some shapes already, but I want to know, what do you think are important shapes for perimeter? And what are the different types of shapes that you know about? And just kind of, yeah. Okay, so I see rectangle so far. Rectangle, and then I see square. What else is there? Triangle. Triangle is so important. I can't tell you how. Triangle is at like the heart of everything. What else? Quadrilateral, I like that. There's quite a few different types of quadrilaterals. Quadrilaterals have 4 sides. Okay, and in fact, a square is a type of quadrilateral, and so is a rectangle. What else? Rhombus. Oh, now you're just showing off. No, I'm joking. Rhombus is also a different type of quadrilateral. You're giving me, what else do we see in the chat so far? We saw a couple of other, I think the name would be something gone. So a really important thing is polygons, and polygons are just 2D shapes with straight sides, okay? And from the family of polygons, you get things like pentagons, which have 5 sides, and you have hexagons. And, you know, I'm sure you've heard some of these names before. Basically, you just keep adding sides. Now, something that's important to distinguish is the difference between irregular and regular. So if I talk about a regular hexagon, and an irregular hexagon, I want to know a little bit about, what does that mean? Does anybody know what that means? Get that. Like when I say irregular hexagon versus regular. So this is quite important. A regular hexagon has all sides. Let's see if I can draw this properly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All the sides will be of the same length, and all the interior angles will be of the same length. And so often you'll see it written like this. We saw this in the opening question where I think it said like 3 centimeters. Now, an irregular hexagon may look something like, it definitely doesn't look as pretty. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got 6 sides, but not all the sides will be the same. So this is important because if I have a regular shape, I can often just take the length of one of the sides and times it by the number of sides. And that's quite quick. Whereas if I have an irregular shape, I often have to add up every single one of the sides. Okay, so just bear that in mind as we go forward. Now there's one shape you've left out, and I think this shape is going to feel a bit left out. So all the shapes you've spoken about so far are very straight liney. Are these the only types of shapes that we have to worry about with perimeter? Ah, I see that, indeed. You also have things called curved lines, and you have something called a circle. Excuse me, my throat's being a bit funny. So a circle is a really, really important shape that we need to bear in mind. Now, one last thing I want to do before I move on is I want to know what methods or processes or formulas do you have for finding the perimeter of shapes? Perhaps maybe your teacher has taught you some things in the past. I'm interested to know what you guys know about, like if you want to find the perimeter of a circle, do you know any maths about that? Or if you want to find the perimeter of a rectangle, so just, you can jump online. I hear somebody's turned their mic, unmuted it. Go for it. Anyone?
Sir,
Yes.
in my class today, to
Yes.
find the perimeter, I think my teacher said you use the formula pi or something.
Aha. Yes.
Yes.
We're going to
And
get to
then
that.
for triangle,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if she said like breadth times height or
Aha.
something like that. Yeah.
You're on the
That's what
right
she
track.
told us today.
Okay. Thank you so much. Who was that?
Mokete.
Mokiti. Thank you so
Yes.
much. Now, this is really important because what happens is teachers start to tell you all sorts of formulas, and it's hard to keep track of which ones they're talking about. So what I want to be very clear about today is we're focusing on the idea of perimeter. And perimeter is the going around the outside of the shape. Okay? And there are formulas that deal with perimeter, but there's another thing in this topic called area. And when we talk about area, we're talking about the space inside a shape. An area has its own formulas too. And then we even get something called volume, which is something else. Now, today, I'm just going to be focusing on perimeter. And so the formulas are, so just to be clear about that, because otherwise I know how it is, it gets mixed up in your head. And so we will talk about some of those formulas on area in the next lesson. But just to finish this little introduction section I did with you, these are the formulas. Let me put this down here. Now, you don't have to memorize these at all, but it is helpful to know about them. So if you're dealing with a triangle, you just simply add up the you add up the 3 sides, okay? If you've got a square, all the sides are equal, so you could times by a 4. And we did a question like that in the introduction. All of the sides are equal. So once we know one, we could say a square is a regular quadrilateral. Then for rectangles, you see it in different ways. Some people say 2 times the length plus 2 times the breadth, or sometimes they put it together like this. Quadrilaterals, you simply add up the 4 sides, A, B, C, D. And here's your pi thing. Okay, now this is important. One of the most famous formulas in maths talks about the relationship between the perimeter of a circle, and it's got its own fancy name. What is the, it's actually here. So I'm giving it away. So we call the perimeter of the circle the circumference. And the relationship between the circumference and what's called the radius, and also something called the diameter, is as follows. If you want to get the circumference, you take what's called the diameter and you times it by this number called pi, which is a very famous number, and it's approximately 3,142. So basically, now I haven't told you what the diameter is, but the diameter is simply a line that goes through a circle, through the middle, from one side to the other. Now, on this particular question, they've got a radius in it. Now, we know that to get a diameter, we simply have to add 2 radiuses together. So r plus r, or 2r. And so that's why if we replace the d with a 2r, we get this formula here. But I can already feel I'm going into formula land, and I don't want to spend too much time there, because I don't think you need to memorize these. You just need to be aware of kind of what they're saying. And I'm going to come back to the circle later in the lesson today. Okay, so apologies if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed by these formulas. So let's go and actually see how we use them. Okay. We've actually done a lot of questions like this already. I want you to try and work out what the answer is to this question. This is a compound shape, and you have 4 options. You have A, B, C, or D, and you need to work out what this distance is. And once you've worked it out, I want you to put it into the chat as either A, B, C, or D. It says here all sides are of length 10 units and all angles are right angles. So maybe I'll even help you a little bit. This is probably what I would do. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you getting my hint? Why am I counting? Okay, 9. What do we have here? 10, 11, 12. So I want to know, what are your answers? I think I see them in the chat. I see these people. You are winning at life. Well done. Okay, so that's, the idea of perimeter applied there. Now, let us have a slightly harder problem with perimeter. It says the diagram shows a rectangle over here and a square over here. They have equal perimeters. What is the length of one side of the square? And I'm going to give you a bit of time, and I want you to think about what perimeter actually is and try and work it out. But basically, you have to work out what this is to start with. And then somehow you need to transfer that across to there. And then once you've got that, you can put your answer in the chat. Or if you're feeling brave, you can just tell me your answer. I see some answers coming in. That's good. That's good. So I want to suggest that the perimeter of the rectangle is 20. And now, because this is a square, it's going to be 20 divided by 4, which is D, which I see most people have got. So again,
That's right.
any questions, everyone? Or are we all good so far? Give me a thumbs up if you're feeling good. Give me a thumbs down if you're like, ish, can we please slow down? So let me see those thumbs. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Okay. Just so I can get a feel for how my students are doing. Okay, very good, very good. Okay, let's see what other questions I've got here. Okay. This is a regular hexagon. So I want you to try and give me an answer to this, A, B, C, or D.
D.
Let's have a look. I heard someone say D. We're not sure yet. Do I really need to even write this all out?
Yes.
Well, I could write it out, but it's a regular hexagon. So I could just say 6 times 5, which is D. And that's it. Okay, I think this has actually got a little bit easy for you now. And so we are going to move on to these two. And just a little hint. In the previous course, we did something called the theorem of Pythagoras. And I'm just going to give you a quick little recap. What the theorem of Pythagoras says, it says that if you take the length of the side opposite the right angle, let's say this is a 5, and say, let's say this is a 3, we know that this side over here will have to be 4 because the relationship that holds is the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares on the other sides. I think most of you will have heard of that. If not, then basically, I'm trying to give you a quick little recap. And basically, we know that 5 squared equals 3 squared plus 4 squared. Now, you may have to use this in this question. That's why I'm bringing it up. But I'm going to give you 3 minutes to complete this by yourself. And then some people are going to tell me the answers. Okay, I'm going to get some water. Ooh. So, yeah, I mean, this part's not too bad. And that part's not too bad. But what are we going to do about all these parts? What are we going to do about this and this and this? Okay, so in the chat, when you've still got more time, but you're going to say the answer for A is, the answer for B is when you get there. Okay, I see some answers coming through. I'll give you a bit more time because these are a bit harder than the multiple choice questions. I'll show you what I'm going to start thinking about. 1, 2. Oh, just be careful I don't make a silly mistake here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, I may even need my friend the calculator. 12 times 2.5. Oh. Okay, so let's have some more answers if we can for A and B. I'll give you another hint. I think that the red bit is 6 and this bit is, okay, actually this can actually, we know what that is, it's 9. And this is 4. Now what is that? This is going to be 3 over here. Okay, so that's the sneaky bit. The green bit is not, the red bit is not so important. But if I know that bit is 6, then this bit over here has to be 3. So that has to be 3, and this has to be 4. So then using the theorem of Pythagoras, this is going to have to be 5. Okay, let me give you the answers. So let's see what the answer is for A. So 4 plus 6 is 10, plus 5 is 15, and then this whole length over here is 9. I could say 6 plus 3, or I could say 9. So 4, 6 is 10, 15 plus 9 is 24 centimeters. So that would be the perimeter for this shape here. And for this one over here, I need to figure out how many sides are there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What did you guys get for sides? Did you get 12? And so your answer should be 30 centimeters. And I see Sino, Gershom, Oretile, you guys have all got that right. Fantastically well done. But before I move on, I know this would have caught some of you. So are there any questions? Because that was a bit tougher now. I've taken it up a notch. So would anybody like to ask a question?
Sir, I don't understand number A. Question
Number A. Okay. If you look at this, do you agree that this part and this part, the 4 and the 6, are quite straightforward?
Yes, sir.
And do you agree that the 9 is also quite sort of like, basically the difficult bit is this green bit here. If I can figure out what that is, I need to just go 4 plus 6 plus 9 plus whatever this is. Now, you may not understand this because of Pythagoras, or it could be other stuff. Have you heard of the theorem of Pythagoras before?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what we're doing is we're saying, look, this is opposite this one. So that's 4. And that's opposite of a rectangle. Then if I look above, the long bottom one is 9. But the top one is 6, which means the difference between them must be 3. So now you've got 2 sides in the triangle. And then using Pythagoras, you can say, well, I mean, you can do it the long way by saying, okay, well, what is the side? It's A. So A squared is 4 squared plus 3 squared. A squared is 16 plus 9, which is 25. And then you square root both sides and you get 5. Now, this 5 over here then comes into it. And so your answer is going to be 4 plus 6 plus 9 plus 5. Okay. Now,
Oh, yes, sir.
does that help a little bit?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. We'll have some more practice at the end. Okay, now, on to the curly shapes. If we look at each of these shapes, it says measure the diameter. Now, we're not going to measure them and write them in a table. But what we are going to do is we are going to work out, I'm going to give you a number called pi. So I'll let the cat out the bag. In circles, the magical number pi basically just takes the diameter, and if you times it by pi, you get the circumference. Now, the good news about that is an equation. And an equation is just a relationship that is equal. And you can rearrange these things to get whatever the unknowns you want. So using the idea that if I divide both sides by pi, Actually, no, let's not divide by pi. Let's divide by pi. Okay. I'm going to divide both sides by pi. So I'm doing exactly the same thing to both sides. And now anything over itself is 1. And so what I get left with is this equation, that the circumference divided by pi is the diameter. Now, if we look at this equation over here, if I want to get the diameter, given that I know the circumference, so they're telling me for A, the distance around the outside or the perimeter is 15.71. Now, because of this relationship that I've just moved around a bit, I now know the D is the subject of the formula, or the D is by itself. And if I want to get what the diameter is, I take the C, so 15.71. You'll see I've got my calculator, and I'm going to divide it by the number pi, or 3,142 if you want, if you haven't got a scientific calculator. And I get the number 5. Now, that means that the diameter, the line that goes across the circle through the middle to each side, is 5 centimeters. Now, as a bonus, what is the radius going to be in this shape? If we just think about what the radius is for a circle, if you know the diameter is 5 centimeters, what is the radius going to be?
3,142.
Actually, it's not going to be, because the radius is half of the diameter. So can you see my blue line here? I want to know how long is that blue line there? And there's going to be 2 of them to make up the diameter. So the radius is going to be half the diameter, which is 2.5 centimeters. Now, I'm just throwing that in because it's something quite important for the section. Okay, let's do the next one. Now, I'm not going to do this last column with you because it's not relevant right now. It's going to give you pi every single time. But let's find out for circle B, what is the diameter for circle B? And we're going to take the circumference, which is 9.42, and I'm going to divide it by 3.142. 3.142 is pi, and if I round off, I'm going to get 3. Okay, now, I want you guys to try and work out the diameter for C, which is this one, for D, and for E. And there's spaces in this table. And I want to just use the formula that I've got on the board here that shows you the relationship between the perimeter of a circle and its diameter and its radius. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you understand what you have to do. So you have to work out this one, and this one. And I've given you the perimeter, or the circumference of the circle. Basically, a circumference is a fancy word for perimeter of a circle. Okay, what do you have to divide? So Sia, what I'm going to do is I'm taking the circumference. Now they're down here. So for C, it's 7.85. And if you imagine 7.85 in this formula, I need to divide this by pi, which is 3.142. And then I will get the diameter. So I'm going to take 7.85 divided by 3.142. And if I round off, I'm going to get 2.5. And that makes sense because you can see how much smaller the C is. Does that help? Maybe you can do the last 2. So I want the answers for D and for E. in this question, you're actually just going the other way around. I'm giving you the perimeter and you work out the diameter.
7.87 divided by
Okay, so for D, what have we got? We've got 12.57 as the circumference, and we're dividing it by this number pi. 12.57 divided by 3.142, and we get 4. And so what that means is that the diameter is just, this thing is going to be 4. Okay, one more to go. So just the 21.99. Okay, 21.99. Oh, 3.142. And you should get about 7 if you round off. Well done, everyone. Very nice. Now, we're going to do a bit more practice with circles because I know they can be tricky, but really, and also there's a formula that deals with area. So the golden rule for today is basically, if you want the circumference, you take diameter times by pi. However, if the question is giving you the circumference and you want the diameter, you just rearrange the equation like I did in green up here. And so just understanding there is a relationship between this thing called the diameter, which is that line, and the perimeter of a circle or the circumference. That's an important idea that we've been working on today. And then every now and again, I even threw the idea in, say, for example, in D, if the diameter is 4, what's the radius going to have to be in the circle? And I want someone to give me the answer. So if it's 2, it's exactly half. Okay, so that's important. And so that's why sometimes you see this formula written as 2 r pi or 2 pi r, because the 2 r's come from the D, just in case that's confusing. Okay, we've done quite a lot today. So I'm just going to finish off with these. Let's just do these 2 multiple choice questions, and then we'll go from there. So I'm giving you this, and I want you to answer A, B, C, or D. And let's see what you can, in this question, we're using 22/7 as the approximation for pi. Okay, so I don't want to say too much. Sometimes textbooks say use pi as 3.14. Sometimes they say 3.142, and sometimes they just say 22/7. You just use whatever the question gives you. They're all kind of approximately. So I want you to work out which of these 4 is the answer to this. So we need to work out the circumference, and that formula is diameter times pi. We know its diameter is 14, and we times by 22/7 because that's what they've given us. So 14 times divided by 7. I get 44, or A. So we know that the perimeter of the shape will be 44 inches. Well done. Well done, Koketso. You guys are really cruising. Can you try and do this one for me? So notice how I'm giving you something slightly different this time. You're given a circle, but you're not given the diameter. You're given something else. You're given the radius. And again, they want to know what is the perimeter, what is the circumference of the circle. I see some answers coming through. I want to give you a bit more time. Couple of people's answers coming through. Good. I like some friendly competition there. So let's think, if the radius is 21, the diameter is surely double that, which is 42 centimeters, because basically it's going to go like that. Now, the formula for the circumference of a circle is just the diameter times pi. So that would be 42 times by 22/7. And 7, I get 132, which is B. Okay, so notice how this formula, diameter times pi, and the things that are related, this seems an important formula since today's main focus is perimeter, right? All we're doing is like, I call perimeter like fencing. We're talking about how much fencing do we need to go around a shape. That formula is particularly important. Okay, I'm going to bring this lesson to a close. Now, I'm not, the homework for today isn't actually going to be on the app per se. I don't think I've assigned homework, but I am going to give you what's called a quiz for home. So I'm going to give you 2 exit tickets. And so Alzan, I'm just going to ask them to write down, but we can finish the lesson off now. I just want them to take down these 2 codes. Let me get the other one. I'll put them up on the screen. And so the only work I'm going to set you, unless Alzan has had a look at the app, these are the 2 codes that I basically you go to joinmyquiz.com, and these are little I call them exit tickets, and I'm going to have a look and see if you guys have done these. And what they are is just practice related to the lesson we did today. And then in the next lesson, we can have a leaderboard where we can celebrate the people who have practiced hard and congratulate them. Okay, so Alzan, I'm going to hand back to you now. I haven't actually looked at the app, but I have prepared these quizzes, so I think that should be enough, unless you've got some extra homework that you want to add to that. Or let's call it practice. Homework is such a negative term.
Revising. Just doing a bit of revision. Awesome. Thank you so much, Peter. This is such an interesting class. Sorry, Latando, you wanted to say something.
No, ma'am, it admitted my mistake.
Okay, absolutely no problem. Well, guys, this was our first class of, I'm going to share with you guys what's up next. Just make sure that you guys have the quiz codes. So I also put it in the chat if you guys haven't jotted it down yet. But for now, is it okay if I stop? Okay,
Yeah.
you stop sharing already. Thanks, Peter. So basically, what we have here is not Pythagoras. What we have here is measurements.
Yeah.
Okay, so just ignore that heading.
That's
but
fine.
the 4 lessons that you guys are going to complete today, we just did the perimeters, and then afterwards it says it find the measuring and calculating the area and working with volumes and revision. So that's what you guys can expect. And then this is not homework, like Peter said. This is just something you guys can go and look at on your own and just practice a bit more, because the more we practice, the more confident we get in this work. So if you go onto your Watobe app, you can just go into area and perimeter, and then you can just go and scroll down. The one that Peter said is very important. I just heard you say triangles, so I put this one on. If
But
you
now,
guys want to give a shot.
So the biggest thing, Ozan, is just for this lesson is to focus on perimeter. So finding the perimeter of triangles, not worrying about the area yet. So that it mixes, the app mixes it together. So just the one where it says perimeter, find area. Yeah. So perimeter is the main. Just look for that word. Wherever you see perimeter, that's what they're practicing.
This is the one. Awesome.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome. Well, guys, this is all from my side. Do you have any questions? Can we see how you guys are feeling with an emoji? How was today's class for you?
Yeah, how did you, especially the newcomers, did you feel welcome? Was it nice to be here? Give us a sense of your experience today.
Got a thumbs up from Asonge and from Swanelo.
And for all of our students from the past, you can also let us know, how are you feeling? Do you feel like you're getting used to the system?
Awesome. Thank you, Koketso, for sharing. She enjoys class. Leniko is being honest and giving a thumbs down. What does that mean to you? Where would you like to improve? Is it something we did? Is it something you still need to do? Let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. We like both types of feedback.
So,
I'd
I'm still
like
new.
to.
Go for it, Leniko.
I'd like to I'd like to. There's this word that I'm looking for that I can't find.
Okay.
But I would like to improve.
Okay.
But I can't really understand the real process of the diameter and the
Okay.
pi. So I would need like some more time to practice and then get to understand.
So can I suggest that
So
do the quiz that we assigned, and then also this is recorded. So if you go back and watch that section again on the YouTube video, and then otherwise in the next lesson, at the beginning of the lesson, bring your questions, and I'm sure we can squeeze some extra time in at the beginning of the lesson. Okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir.
Cool. All right, Ozan.
Can I just ask a quick question?
Yes, yeah, go for it.
So I have my math exam coming up on Wednesday.
Okay.
I wanted to ask if you'll be available, if we can ask you some questions.
On Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay. I will check with the person who runs the maths overview thing. It's an interesting question. I'll make it I can't say yes or no. I will ask the question. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Cool. All right. Alzan, anything more from you? I think Alzan, so unfortunately, Alzan was having load shedding. So I think she has left the building. So I'm going to say goodbye to you all. And yeah, thanks for coming to class today. You had really great energy and it was really fun teaching you. And don't be discouraged. If you find it tough, it takes a while to get, it's like running for the first time. It takes a while to get some stamina. Next class is on Wednesday. So Wednesday, same time, 5 o'clock. So Mondays and Wednesdays. You can go to the Watobe website to see.
Bye, sir.
Ciao, everyone. I must go. Ciao.
Bye, sir.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night.
See you next week.
Indeed. On Wednesday.